Hi, welcome or welcome back. My name is Yu Oyen, or you can call me Yu Win or Win. And I'm happy that we get to be together whenever and wherever you are tuning in. So, this is a part of my 90-day challenge to share my truth and to use my voice. And so, you are along for the journey, whether this is your first time or nth time. So I like to start each video sharing a practice. And so a goal that I set for myself, though I do not know how often I actually do it. Um, excuse me, I set a one of my hourly reminders is for a midday 15-minute meditation intended to stop as many thoughts as possible. So this comes from the work from Abraham as channeled through Esther Hicks. And so she talks about how for her, or for her, 15 minutes of meditation a day is enough, and it's intended to be like a pause or a reset. And so she might find a sound like the humming of the air conditioning or the ticking of a clock and focus on that for 15 minutes to see if that can stop whatever energy has been building up. And so that's why I have it scheduled for midday so that, I have a pretty good start in the morning. I have a good morning routine. And then something usually happens around midday. And then by early afternoon, I'm sort of gone in a direction, depending on sort of what I get through in the middle of the day. So, just wanted to share that as a consideration for a tool in your toolbox. And then today I wanted to talk about creativity. So I'm realizing as I get older, creativity has felt farther out of reach. And so, um, sometimes I will hear reminders of how, um, like a water sign, a Pisces is creative. And sometimes I'll hear channeled messages talking about creativity and sharing sharing it in some shape or form. And then as I was learning about the art of allowing um, from the teachings of through Esther Hicks, uh, talking about this idea too of being a co creator to life and creation energy, which is a part of source energy. And so I feel like I've been pretty cut off from it um, probably since like university days. So I wanted to talk about it because I am usually very excited and a little envious of people who are finding a way to express their creativity or to channel their creativity to create. Um, but I think I've also gotten confused, and I had this conversation with a friend around okay, so if one of the laws of physics is energy is neither created or destroyed, then is there creation? Because if energy can't be created because it's always there, it's just like changing form, shifting from like liquid to solid or from anger to frustration. Uh, what's like, can I co create? And then am I just getting really stuck on uh, the word? So, me, get stuck on words. So then it was really interesting because I went to the library and I found a book from Sue Monk Kidd, who's the best-selling author of The Secret Life of Bees. And I stumbled across her book, Writing Creativity and Soul, right? And so I didn't really know what it was. I just liked that it said creativity and soul, soul's calling, right? And so in the introduction, she shared, um, and I quote, when I was a young writer of 30 and just setting out, I traveled to North Carolina to hear Maya Angelou give a lecture on writing. I sat on the sixth row of the large auditorium while the tall woman with the powerful presence spoke about the cost of carrying untold stories inside, about wielding a voice in the world, about writing that brings the reader alive. Right. So I don't know if that's, but that was something that just really stood out to me as I started reading the introduction. Um, and, you know, it echoed, the reason why I'm doing this 90-day challenge. Um, it's a lot to do with like owning your voice. It's a lot to do with expressing, right? And so I remember hearing somewhere, though I cannot recall who or what, so long ago. But somebody was talking about how a lot of times people don't identify as being creative or exercising creativity because they think of creativity in a formal, kind of traditional kind of art. So if they are not an artist or if they aren't a professional, they might not consider that they're creative. Um, but this person had said that, in each one of our decisions that we have to make, the numerous decisions that we make in a day, in a week, in our lifetime, each one of those decisions is a creative choice. And so we actually all are creative if we, had had that perspective. And so I'm trying to think of that. I'm trying to think of like creative and creativity are feeling a little bit separate from creation, but maybe creation is the consequence of the evolution or the transformation or transmutation of energy. So maybe creating is actually transmuting. And then I would feel more comfortable using the word transformation or transmutation or even alchemy. I do really resonate with the word alchemy and alchemist and alchemize. So, hmm, yeah, I'm just pondering. I'm just thinking about words. I think about words a lot, which makes sense if I'm speaking. And I am excited to continue reading this book. I think as I continue recording these videos and sharing, um, I feel called to write. And so, Writing Creativity and Soul seemed like a good book to pick up. Um, it is still one of my dreams to write a book or write a story. Um, yeah, so there's something about maybe finding the best way to express my voice. But I think I decided to record videos and post them because actually that's a good like when when I was inspired to do this 90-day challenge, the automatic thought was 9 days of posting videos. Had no idea why. It just came so clearly and so quickly. And I took action right away that I just went with it and I want to finish it. Um, but, I think of some of the feedback that I've received when I have facilitated trainings, um, whether in person or online. And the typical feedback that I get is that my voice is calming. And so I think for that reason, I've been curious to see if recording videos and speaking does anything. But it, I'm trying to think, it's easier for me to write a message to someone because I think it gives me time to think. But when I record videos, there's no interaction. So I don't really get to challenge myself in that way, um, to see how I might respond to someone using spoken words. So I'd be curious what that could be like. I, speaking of, was invited by a friend to record a podcast interviewing her. So we've got to work out the details, but creativity, voice. How do you share your voice? How do you speak your truth? How do you best express your voice? I'm sitting with those questions and I'm throwing them out there to you in the case that you feel like receiving and catching them. Hmm. I did want to just give you a little bit more from that introduction. Um, so, mm, so she goes back and explains um, some of the rejection that she received as a writer. And then she wrote on page 4, then Dr. Angelou made the clearest, simplest, most profound declaration about writing I've ever heard. She said, quote, there are only 3 things you need in order to write. First, you need to say something. Nope, sorry. First, you need something to say. It's very different. Second, you need the ability to say it. Finally, you need the courage to say it all. Yeah. So, in the case that you are experimenting with different ways to share your voice and you want to try writing, maybe those words can be supportive for you. So, that's all I have for now. I'm happy that you could join me on this part of my journey. If this ends here, I appreciate you coming across and checking me out. And if I will see you again later, I look forward to it. Um, I hope you are loving on yourself. I hope you believe in unconditional love, that you can receive it and give it as well. And I look forward to connecting with you next time. Until then, please take good care. Okay, bye bye.